Danny Hugh, Corporate Development Manager of Neo Battery Materials. It's a pleasure to have you back on today, Danny. How are you doing?
Good. It's good to be back.
Yes, of course. Excited to talk about the company. So could you give me a quick introduction to what the company does and highlight the current stages of development for Neo Battery Materials?
Okay. So we've been on almost 2 weeks ago, and just to give the new folks of what we are doing. So Neo Battery Materials is a low-cost technology developer of silicon anode materials. And what silicon anode materials does is it's one of the 4 key components in the lithium-ion battery. And if we try to include silicon with graphite, especially in the anode material, we can solve the slow charging problem by enabling ultra-fast charging. And we can also increase the runtime of the battery. So that's the range of how fast or how long the battery goes. And also we can decrease the expensive nature of EV batteries today. And this is particularly enabled by the lowest cost manufacturing method, as well as the inputs that we use compared to our current competitors. So in terms of the business development, we have over about 40 NDAs signed with global battery manufacturers, as well as EV automakers. And most recently, we've signed NDAs with North American battery manufacturers as well. So what we're doing with these NDA parties is that we're sending optimized samples and they're giving us feedback. So we create an effective feedback loop. And once this testing and the optimization and the due diligence is complete, in which we meet the specific performance requirements as well as the economics of the silicon anode materials, we can expect collaboration, joint development, as well as offtake agreements with these parties. And so far, we've built significant relationships with these manufacturers. And these global players have commented highly positive results of our materials, especially with the performance and the economics compared to current state-of-the-art silicon anodes. So in terms of both business and technology, we're in the best position to go to the next phase of commercialization and putting our products into the mass market today.
Yeah, it's going to be a very exciting year for you guys. So with regards to the commercial plant that is being planned to be constructed in South Korea, could you update us on the construction permit process, progress, and then the next steps?
Sure. So after 1.5 months of due diligence with the city of Pyeongtaek, so that's the city in which the commercial plant is going to be constructed, the city has given us the approval for construction permit of Neo's silicon anode commercial plant. So this is a long-awaited significant news that sort of signals that both operation and commercialization are well on its way. So for those who are new, we are going to be completing the facility by the first half of 2024. And the initial capacity will be about 240 tons per year, which is 240,000 kilograms of materials. And the initial capacity will enable us to supply to about 160,000 electric vehicles. And when we do the full-fledged expansion, the commercial plant will be able to produce about a minimum of 2,000 to 5,000 tons per year. So because we have the construction permit in place, the next stage of the initial construction phase will be the basic civil engineering, where we're sort of design how we're going to get the energy as well as the waterworks of the facility, as well as the site clearance. Because it's a greenfield project, the debris is still on the land, so we're going to get that cleared, as well as we're going to select the most ideal contractor through a bid process. And once the contractor is selected, we're going to have meetings and also engage with them to have meetings to decide when are we going to get the materials and when are we going to procure them at the most optimal spot in this kind of volatile market. So obviously we're going through the construction phase, and obviously financing comes as a subsequent question. So we've highlighted in the last interview, but to reiterate, we are actively engaged to secure long-term and reliable investors that will help Neo, especially with the commercialization side, as well as marketing in the public markets, as well as into the EV battery supply chain. And we're looking for investors who will provide us with the network so that we can have more potential collaborative opportunities with these players. So we're currently prioritizing institutional investors and corporations in the EV battery, or also the chemical manufacturing supply chain, to provide this strategic investment. for the construction, as well as the additional equipment that are going to go into the facility itself. So we recognize that these business and technological progress is important, but we also understand that minimizing equity dilution and also achieving the optimal capital structure for Neo battery materials is key for value maximization. So we're not just prioritizing one over the other, but we have a balanced approach to implementing our strategy currently. And additionally, for our South Korean subsidiary called NBM Korea, we're in talks with multiple financial institutions in South Korea to lock in strategic debt financing. So not all of the project is covered by equity financing, and we have sort of that debt component that can actually leverage to the optimal capital structure in our commercial plant and progress as well.
So let's talk about your expansion now. So, we've heard that Neo Battery Materials is planning to expand into the US through your subsidiary, NBM America. Could you give us an overview of the expansion plan and what you hope to accomplish in the US?
Yes, so we're actually under the process to establish NBM America Limited in February, and this is going to be a subsidiary of the parent company in the US that will be located in Ohio. So to give you an overview of the expansion plan, the first pillar will be obviously expanding the core silicon anode business in the North American region. And the North American region is actually integral to the EV battery supply chain because we have a lot of EV automakers such as Tesla, as well as Lucid, Rivian, all those kind of companies coming into play, as well as EV battery manufacturers that are investing their money into the US as well. So we have identified that going into the US is one of the significant business plays that we can do in the short term. And also in the second pillar, we're also searching for new value-added projects that can add to Neo's business portfolio. So not only are we just expanding on the silicon anode side, but we're also trying to focus on the upstream materials, that's our inputs, and the downstream as well. How can we cut the costs and make our products much more attractive for all our customers, and especially the consumers that are going to be driving these electric vehicles? And there's maybe a question, why Ohio? Why not New York? Why not California? Why not Texas? But actually, Ohio is recognized as a strategic hub for the EV battery supply chain. LG Energy Solution, which is the second largest battery manufacturer, currently has 2 gigafactories, one that is with a joint venture with a GM, and one that is also going to be built with Honda. It's coming into the state as well. So when we do establish NBM America, we're going to target state and federal level funding, especially the Inflation Reduction Act. And also, many venture capitalists have been focusing their portfolio on sustainability as well as clean tech. So we're trying to target those kind of funds to channel those funds into the private company as well. So we've briefly mentioned about growing the first pillar, but the second pillar with the value-added project, we're currently eyeing that was covered on the last interview is actually silicon waste recycling. So we're actually trying to expand this kind of value-added project into the US. And there's numerous semiconductor firms that actually produce a lot of semiconductor waste. And there's companies such as Intel, AMD, NVIDIA, as well as Texas Instruments that we could be potentially working with. So we'll provide more business developments through further updates.
Great. So earlier this week, the company released news about an appointment of a chief science officer. Could you tell us more about that?
Yes. So we have appointed Dr. BayStreet Swain as the Chief Science Officer. So he's an expert in green material sciences and engineering, as well as lithium-ion battery recycling. So this is actually a significant development as Neo is fortifying our knowledge base and leadership team to pull another leg up into the commercialization progress, especially with increasing the rate of optimization of our products. So Dr. Swain has more than 20 years of experience in the battery materials process development sector, and he has served vital roles in commercialization of mass production systems, especially in this ecosystem, as well as leading multi-million-dollar projects related to batteries and recycling as well. So one of the plus of having Dr. Swain in the team is that he will boost our expansion efforts in the US, especially the second pillar strategy with the value-added project of silicon waste recycling. Because he is an expert in recycling electronic waste, he'll be able to give us another push in establishing a robust value-added project in the US. So to just give a summary, Neo Battery Materials is in probably the best fundamental position in terms of business developments, technological developments, and we hope to deliver to the market and investors good news, especially the expected milestones with the global battery manufacturers and the EV automakers very soon when we do meet those specifications and requirements.
Yes, you guys are in a very exciting space and positioned very well. So I'm excited to cover the story. Thank you for the updates, Danny. Where can investors go for more information on the company?
Yes, so obviously we'll be having more interviews with Aaron as well. But in the meantime, if you do have any rushed questions, please do not hesitate to email info@neobatterymaterials.com. And for more information on the company, we have uploaded our January webinar to our YouTube channel, so you can also check out that as well.
Great, Danny. Well, thanks a lot, and we'll have to have you back on soon.
All right, thank you, Aaron.